We have a song which none of you have heard yet, but I'd like to sing it for the first time really properly here in Dublin, because this is a song about true attempt at unconditional love.
It used to be all about us. Now it's not about us at all. We're just there to facilitate a gathering, really. It restores my faith in humanity. Every day I get to see people singing together. We love it. When you get in the water, it reminds you to be humble because you're just tiny again.
We kind of got to the point now where we realize what we're supposed to be doing, which is to provide a sense of community.
We're only going to do 12 proper albums, and that's real. Less is more.
Because you always have to think, well, if this was the last one, would I be happy? You know, Moon Music was always supposed to be the second part of Music of the Spheres. I think there was always a plan to keep the tour going and have this new album come out.
It's sort of our manifesto. My way of looking at things right now in terms of how to not give up, how to accept reality, and then try and find some way to look at it with love, basically. This is a good one.
Honestly, one of the best. 2 days in Dublin with old friends and no question the biggest rock band on the planet. Coldplay invited us to go behind the scenes of their record-breaking tour at Croke Park. Then we spent a day with Chris out on the ocean, ending with easily one of the coldest swims of my lifetime. It was a beautiful contrast. It's all about to unfold. Enjoy it. It doesn't get bigger than this.
So much. Be kind to yourself, be kind to each other, have a safe journey home. Believe in love. We'll see you on Sunday. Goodbye.
Do you do this much? Do you walk around empty venues before you play them?
Only in the rain. Melancholy is my go-to emotion, so this is perfect.
I was going to start at the end, but I don't even know if this will ever end, this tour. Maybe it shouldn't.
Well, who knows? You know, right now we have one more show left of this leg, and then got some more stuff going on in October, November, and then see what happens. It's great though. It's still fun. That's the thing, and it's been really nice to play here actually, because these shows have been amazing. Ireland is just the best place to play shows. We came here on the first night. It was the size of this place. It's an amazing, very significant venue in Ireland, in Dublin particularly, but it was just absolutely bananas. We were literally sort of blown away by the stage, by the crowd. We've kind of got to the point now where we realize what we're supposed to be doing, which is to provide a nice kind of 2 hours of escapism and a sense of community and a sense of people feeling like that it's a safe place to feel happy feelings, because Chris says it every night on stage. You know, we're very lucky to witness this amount of people all hanging out together of every color and race, gender, and whatever it is. People are just happy to be together, and there's no arguing.
We got the memo. I mean, it's definitely what we show up for at a Coldplay show and other shows, but there's different experiences. And it also, to some degree, must take a bit of pressure off what is a good or a bad show. But in some respects, does that take a little bit of that pressure off?
Definitely. It's never the case that we don't notice every little mistake. In fact, we laugh about it quite a lot. Little things that no one would really notice, but we notice. If Johnny,
a rim shot.
Exactly. If Johnny hit an absolute clanger the other day, and we were all in hysterics.
Which song? Wait, I got to know which one.
It was the intro of "Feels Like I'm Falling in Love." He forgot to switch the guitar on, and then he ran to switch it on, and then inadvertently played a semitone. It was the worst possible interval to get wrong, and it was horrific, but hilarious and funny, and it becomes a nice moment because it's proof that there's it's real. We focus less on the sort of technical side of things and like, how did the vibe feel? Did we get the vibe right? So there's less pressure on the how did we play. It's more about, did we connect? Was there a nice feeling in the room? And so, but the best part of the show is always the is the fans, you know, and if they're having a great time, then that makes it a good show.
Yeah, you can tell. I mean, like, from just kind of watching the videos and seeing the way that everybody is so ready when the lights go down, and even just the starting with the, is it E.T.?
It's E.T.
It's E.T.?
Yeah. Yes.
Is that, whose idea was that?
That was Chris from the get-go. I mean, we're obviously big Spielberg fans, and there's a sort of, you know, slightly outer spacey vibe going on. So it's an amazing piece of music and quite exciting as well.
So you probably don't go up this. Maybe you do go
yes,
this.
I do work this bit. We're coming down the side.
Yeah.
And then we go under and up, and then go to the main stage, and then there's a couple of a section where we all play here on the B stage, out in the middle, and then towards the end we go out to the C stage.
Yeah.
Chris finishes up out there, and we walk back up and do the end of the show, and then off we go.
It's timed pretty carefully. I mean, you look pretty relaxed, but you got to be up there by the time it's ready to go.
Yeah. Although for me it's all right because I'm the one who, you know, initiates things, as it were. So
kicks it off.
If I'm not in my spot, nothing's happening.
Yeah.
So, there's a bit of pressure on me, but because we're so in tune with the momentum of the show on our own show like this, anything that is slightly different, it feels like something's wrong. It's like all the air is leaking out. So it's a really weird thing. And it occasionally happens in stadium shows, but Chris is really good he's very sensitive to those moments where he knows that, okay, we need to crank it up.
He's one of the best. He's one of the best. He feels, I can tell, he's really searching for the feeling at every little part of the stadium and where he needs to just, to your point, change the frequency of it so much.
He's really the interface, obviously, between all of us. You know, we have ways of communicating and ways of looking after each other, but we're all quite good at that now, you know, just checking in. Are you all right?
Yeah,
okay?
I'd imagine so, because as we leave the B stage, I mean, this is probably the closest you get to going back to what it was in the beginning, which is that sense of being around each other in a room and playing. It must be really nice when you get out there and are able to play together and see each other like that, and it's not all just facing one way.
Yeah, it is nice. The C stage, I think, is maybe the closest to what, you know, the one that right at the back where it's all acoustic instruments as well. The bedroom moment.
It's living room.
So it's like being back in Johnny's bedroom in '98.
God, it always blows my mind when you come up on here, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but it feels smaller.
Yeah.
But it does. It feels more intimate than you see.
Yeah. I think it's deliberate. Yeah, it just allows the energy to stay centered if you have quite a compact four in the middle, and that's when the best bits of the show are, I think, is when we're all quite close together. We're really proud of the fact that it's still going, and the fact that people are still wanting to come. I think credit to Phil and to Chris as well, who's been very adamant from the very beginning that we have a really democratic ticket pricing system as well.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you want those people to be able to afford to come, and the kids, you know, who are going to be people who hopefully will keep listening to our music.
Yeah.
We don't want them to be priced out, you know.
The fact that when you walk into this room, if you care about this kind of thing, and we all should, and hopefully over time we will, and I think inevitably we all will have to, you're creating an efficiency space, a place where you feel like you're actually part of an experience which isn't taking as much as we take on in everyday life. I really want to give you your flowers for that, because everyone knows Coldplay cares about the environment and you tour sustainably, but I don't think a lot of people understand the lengths to which you've gone and how it's in every nuance of the show.
Yeah.
It's not just the bikes, and it's not just the air travel, but it's right down to the reusable materials, and also the fact that, you know, the kind of food you're putting on in catering, and the fact that you're giving surplus food to food banks locally. This stuff should be talked about, because it's really, really motivating, and I think very inspiring.
I think we had the lull of COVID, and that allowed us a lot of time to really investigate deeply into some of the things that we could be doing, and partner with really interesting people and kind of be open to suggestions. And I think what we came up with is the idea that there wasn't one big thing that got us into this position in the first place. It was a series of decisions and choices that get made that accumulate into something catastrophic. And so in the same way, we thought, okay, rather than trying to do enormous big ticket items, of which there are a few that make a massive difference, but really it's about putting every decision through that filter of like, okay, literally every single facet of the tour goes through that another layer of decision making. Can we do this better? Can we do it more sustainably? Can we do it greener? Can we do it so it's beneficial? You know, how are we making those decisions, and can we make them better? And so it's pretty much everything from the cups we use to the we've got this new thing. I don't think I'm not sure whether they're on at the moment, but the black drapes that go around the back of behind the stage are solar. They're basically solar material, so they are
Powering stuff.
I'm afraid it's not doing
not
too
today.
much in Dublin, but
Maybe not today.
But yeah, they basically, because they sit there, especially if we're playing in hot places for 5 or 6 shows residency, they sit there soaking up. You can either take just classic black drape material, or we can invest in this technology and
Incredible.
and make it work for us. And I think we all have different skill sets, and Guy is amazingly, he's the engineer. He's got that technical brain. Johnny is our scientist. He was he's our mathematician and scientist, and Chris has these extraordinary big ideas, and Guy is the one who thinks, well, okay, but how do we actually do that? And how about let's talk to these people? And so it's been a really amazing exercise and a really fun thing to do, because we don't want to make it exclusive to us. It's completely open
It's
source.
inspiring.
It's like, take it,
It's inspiring.
run with it, and do something better. This year we've managed to reduce our footprint by 59%. So the last year was 50 from the last tour. Now we're getting closer to
That's
60,
amazing.
65. So it's incremental, but we're very clear with the fact that it's not all done. There's a long way to go. Clearly, it's an ongoing process. But we want to keep going. Just about being honest and open and saying, yeah, we're not quite there yet. Here's what we've done. Tell us how we can do better.
It's quite far away, isn't it?
It's hard for me not to think about those very first moments, and you probably, I don't know if you ever afford yourself that. We all keep moving forward in life, but I think about the Shepherd's Bush Empire and the lamp on the piano or whatever it was, you know what I mean? Like, where it all began. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. I don't think we've spent very much time looking back. I think certainly I feel I'm getting to a point where I'm happier to look back and reflect more than I've ever been before. But I think up until now, it's been very much just
What's the next thing?
100 miles an hour in one direction forwards.
Does it help that you do a tour for 2.5 years? Does it slow things down in a strange way, even though there's momentum and you're constantly got a new leg being put on? But in a way, it's like 4 days here, 5 days there. Does it?
Yeah, I suppose so. It seems slower than we've previously done, but tours work a bit like school years. When you're a kid and all of your life is sort of like, this happened in this year of my life.
Yeah.
Well, for us now, it's like, this happened in this tour.
A lot.
Yes.
It turns out.
Yeah.
It happens in 2.5 years.
Yeah.
It is the kind of tour that I think when you start out in a bedroom, you wouldn't even allow yourself the ability to dream of doing a tour like this, because it seems completely unusual. It's what the Rolling Stones do. I mean, it is at that level where you're playing stadiums and you're touring for 2.5 years, and the scale of it is just gigantic. I was joking with Will about it. I think I capped you at 9.5, and he corrected me and said, no, we're over 10 million now. In terms of tickets sold.
Yeah.
And it is something to be proud of.
It is. Well, I think we're sort of breaking new territory for us. I think the biggest tour we ever did before this was the Viva La Vida tour, in terms of the number of shows, which was about 170, I think. So we're almost at that number now, with no particular end in sight. We're really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's weird. 2.5 years in and we're still
loving it.
Loving it.
But it's taken us, I think it's taken us this long to figure out how to pace it and how to balance it, because we've certainly done some tours in the past which have kind of almost killed us and certainly made me never want to tour ever again.
Yeah, I certainly think about like our third album tour and stuff was brutal, wasn't it?
So what's changed? Not to take you back through the pain of that. Let's go through the pain of that. No, look, we're here, and like I said, this is a very healthy environment, and people come here to celebrate, and we know that tonight will be an absolute release and a joyful experience, emotional experience. So how did you find that balance? What is different between now and then, apart from youth versus experience?
We certainly look after ourselves better.
Yeah.
Touring in your 20s, you're sort of young and excited, and
it's all there for you.
And you go out after the show late.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I think it's being a little bit older, and you just have to almost treat yourself more like an athlete in terms of how you look after your body and mind.
Yeah.
So I think we've all gotten better at doing that, and but then also just the pacing. Knowing how many shows we can do a year is really crucial for us as well, and
also how many we can do in a week.
In a week.
We used to do 5 or 6.
Yeah.
definitely no more than 4.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense because there's a huge amount of ground to cover and there's a lot of music to share and it's a lot of energy coming your way as well. I always think about the transferal of energy. We're not just screaming and clapping and sending it somewhere else. It's going really toward you and you're giving us this music in return. And I wonder what your relationship like with that is, Johnny, you know, in terms of how you sort of come down from that or how you translate that relationship with us as fans.
Well, I think as we've all gotten older, we've stopped treating it as being about us. And so it becomes a lot easier to deal with because really it's just about the people who are here. And then we stop worrying about it being a show about people watching what we're doing or, you know, it's just about, in fact, just a way to sort of get people together and
Will was saying that too.
music.
He was saying it's sort of like less pressure on like the goods and the bads and stuff. And, you know, the mistakes get made and you're just able to giggle about them and laugh about them. You know, like if someone goes on to play like Feels Like I'm Falling in Love and their guitar's not turned on and then they reach out to try and turn it on and when they do, they hit the wrong note.
I don't know who you're talking about there. I had another one last night. Because we missed the sound check because our plane was late and we were doing a song with a band called Aslan, and I've been practicing their song, you know, in its original key.
Yeah.
But no one told me that they weren't playing it in the original key
Live.
So I came in with a big power chord.
Why is it always the big power chords too? Why isn't it just something gentle like a strum that you can adjust in real time? Why has it got to be the big power chord, right?
Well, then I was like, oh, that sounds weird. And I sort of looked around and everyone else looked like they were playing the same chord as me. So I was like, well, I'm going to go for the next one.
Double down.
I hit the next one. I was like, oh, no, that's still wrong. Maybe my guitar... So then I was like, oh, it's better tune my guitar.
It's a real life shred, isn't it?
Drop to home tune. Because I'm still looking around at everyone. It's like, that guy's definitely playing a D.
Right.
There's no question. But then it turns out they'd all detuned their guitars.
God, can you imagine if you'd done that like 15 years ago, man? I mean, you know, I don't know how you would have felt. Maybe you would have laughed about it then too, still. No. But I mean, you just...
I'd have crawled into my room for a month, I think.
Just going back to day one of the band, I think the thing that surprised me the most was when I met Chris. It's like, oh, wow, here's somebody who's not only prepared to kind of, you know, write words, write lyrics, and, you know, somebody who's actually prepared to sing in a microphone in front of people. That was like the kind of like, oh, wow, maybe we could actually make a band then, because you need that.
You kind of need that.
I think it takes a certain kind of person to, well, first of all, to want to be a singer, and second of all, to actually stand, you know, in front of 100 people, 1,000 people, 80,000 people, and to be comfortable being the center of attention. You know, when I stand on the stage and look around, you know, the audience heads, it's like sunflowers, they follow the sun, right? It's, you know, anywhere Chris goes on the stage, that's where the audience will be looking. So you very quickly realize that, you know, you're standing there and nobody's looking at you. Which I'm quite comfortable with, by the way. But I suppose, I just don't know if I'm comfortable in the sense knowing that people aren't looking at me all the time. I would be really uncomfortable if it wasn't the case. But I think, you know, obviously being in Chris's position, you have to accept that you are the focus of attention.
You know, I think some people shroud away in that, or it becomes a difficult relationship. I feel like he gets through it by just giving.
I mean, he really puts himself out there. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I can't imagine anything worse than trying to come up with a song about people.
Yeah.
while live in front of 80,000 people.
Chris has always been able to make things up just on the spot like that. And I think what's so cool about that Jumbotron section is I'm not sure there's anyone else that could do that.
I mean, I love the way you're changing up the set list all the time as well. It feels to me like there's some fluidity in that, which is cool. I mean, most bands who perform in this kind of environment, or artists, there's so much production around it. You got to kind of stick to your beats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's an element of that. You know, we sort of have a structure that we can hopefully play a little bit around with.
Yeah.
But it's still a structure.
Yeah. So you've got other things so it's modular. You can put things in and put things out and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a nice way of putting it. But I think we also realize, you know, sometimes we get into the mindset, you know, after 170 shows or whatever, you know, we start thinking about changing the set and moving things around and coming up with a different set. But actually you have to remember that, you know, every time we go to a new place, there's probably, you know, 98% of people there haven't seen the show yet.
Yeah.
And I think what we've got to be careful of doing is not kind of changing the show up just for the sake of
change for us, because
Just keep it interesting for you.
But the thing is, the funny thing is actually, because all of us get bored quite easily with old stuff, and just want to move on and do new stuff all the time. But actually, with this, we're still okay. It still feels good.
Well, you have a new album. This beautiful album, man, Moon Music. Congratulations. I mean, continuing to not just perform at the highest level, but record at the highest level, and to have made maybe one of your most complete bodies of work in terms of all the sides of Coldplay, and then call Time on a Tour wouldn't make much sense in a strange way, right?
Yeah, I think, Moon Music was always supposed to be kind of the second part of Music of the Spheres. And I think there was always a plan. I think there was always the plan to keep the tour going and have this new album come out. But I think I quite like this way of working where you don't have to kind of attach albums to tours, and they don't have to be these kind of things that start and stop. It's quite nice having the fluidity of what we're doing, and also just setting up it's such a huge operation to build up a tour and get it on the road.
I feel like Everyday Life kind of broke that spell a little bit. There were probably lots of reasons why that wasn't such a tour, but that was probably the first time, right, where you put something out and just let it sit on its own.
Maybe Ghost Stories.
Ghost Stories too.
Yeah, but like Guy was saying, this tour took two or more years to plan.
Yeah.
So the idea of starting another one seems dreadful.
Well, I got to ask you, there's a friend of Chris's, there's something about mortality which seems to really excite him, especially when he's about to release a record with you guys. He always talks about mortality, not from a personal point of view, but from a sort of artistic point of view, like, this might be the last one. And I sort of wonder if he just become to accept that, or if you're all aligned with that kind of thinking that it's okay to see an end in sight, even if if you're not true to that, and you carry on. What is the end of something?
I think it's good to have a plan. It's always good to have a plan. It's good to have a framework to work into. But I think it's also it's a management tool. I think particularly for Chris, who's working 24/7. I think it's certainly good for him to have in his mind some kind of end goal to help him through that just personality that he is, who's always working. I think if you're a marathon runner and you were told, right, go and run and run and run and run, but we're not going to tell you
When the end is.
where the end is.
Beautiful analogy, by the way. It's a very, very dark and very succinct analogy there. I'm right there with him now.
Well, for us as well, though, it's important, I think, because you always have to think, well, if this was the last one, would I be happy?
Right.
It's not like there's not another chance.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there might not be, ever. You never know.
You never know. We have tonight. Come rain or shine.
Come rain or shine. I think it's going to shine.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that, Guy. What I am certain about, as I walked around this empty venue hours before it filled to capacity, was that Coldplay are the show that people need to see right now. It's a concert, it's church, it's a spiritual awakening. It's an environment so fulfilling and uplifting. It reminds you that when we all come together despite our differences, we actually have a lot more in common than we think. That's what Coldplay do best, is remind us of that.
Well, look at the beautiful sky coming. Do you want to sit on that pile of rocks there? Can they film from the...
Yeah, we can make anything work, I'm sure.
Look, that'd be great.
Yeah.
All right, be careful here, man. We'll go across. Look at this, perfect. This is our spot.
I feel like this is important to you, doing this kind of thing, being barefoot wherever you are in the world.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very important, and it's it really getting the sea as much as possible too, because it's offsets the playing stadiumness, which is, I love it so much, but when you get in the water, it reminds you to be humble, because you're just tiny again.
If you're by the ocean, it's such a must. Like, I'm trying to think of some of the most beautiful places you must have been swimming on this tour, because you've been to some incredible places.
Yeah, this last leg I swam in Germany, Ireland,
Yeah.
Greece,
Yeah.
Austria, Finland,
Amazing.
Italy maybe, Spain.
Yeah.
But it's also, if you believe in this kind of thing, it's nice to ground yourself, especially if you're on planes a lot. And I don't know, it just feels nice too.
Yeah, it does. And it actually does. I mean, it's kind of strange as it was to climb out on rocks and chuck
Look, you
tires.
kept everything so clean.
No, I'm proud of that.
You got that rip in your trousers, but I'll get that paid for.
It's purposeful.
Oh, okay.
It's purposeful by design. Yeah, man, last night was so special. It was such a moment to see what we talked about 2.5 years ago when we did our conversation around high power.
Yeah.
And you showed it, you laid it all out. You were like, I think we're going to do a tour like this. And you
Right.
showed me the images of it.
Yeah.
And it looked incredible on paper. Obviously, it looks a million times better in real life. You know, how has it been just seeing that come to life, you know, from a piece of paper and an idea and a concept? Because I know that you're conceptual. You really love to create things.
Yeah.
To see something of that scale reach 82,000 people last night, you know, must have
Well,
been
that's
amazing.
the thing that's missing with any concept drawing is all the people there. And so all of the design and everything is really just trying to make it more easy for people to let go and feel good together.
I feel like that's a pretty important transition for performers to make. I'm not sure whether it's experience or wisdom or maybe success. I know that's a strange word, but whatever allows you to sort of be able to just let the people have their moment and not necessarily put so much pressure on yourself. I talked to the guys about this yesterday, and they said that they agreed that they felt a little less personal pressure. Mistakes are okay because the people there are just kind of having their own experience.
Definitely. I think when you're starting as an artist or as a band or whatever, it is more about you. You're trying to make it and you're trying to prove something to yourself and to your detractors or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Then you're trying to stay there. Then it comes to a point where, without really realizing it, you are only doing it because you love it and you want to give people a good time who like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And even the people that don't like it, it's kind of, that stress has fallen away because they don't have to come.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of flipped that it used to be all about us and now it's not about us at all.
Yeah.
We're just there to facilitate a gathering, really.
It really felt that way last night. It felt not that you don't take it very seriously and you want to put on your best, but that you had let go of a certain amount of that, for lack of a better term, kind of ego that comes with stepping on a stage.
It's still there. It's still under there a bit, but it's fueling the bigger priority. Whereas maybe before the audience was helping to boost your ego so you keep going.
Yeah.
Now your ego is serving that
Yeah.
on a good day.
A shift in confidence.
But I still have 2 nights ago I had a real confidence crash on stage. But you can't let anybody see that. So it's always humbling.
Do the boys know, do you think?
Uh,
I think they do, from what they said yesterday. They can tell when you're really in the zone and when you might need a little bit of a pickup.
It's funny because Will, who looks so stern all the time, who's so sweet, he's the person I go to if I'm worried. I think I lost the crowd or that was a terrible improvisation or whatever it is. And if he goes, that's all I need.
As you were describing the members of the band once, every one of them was a different version of the same thing, which is like this handbrake, this great sort of like voice of reason, this, you know, Will being like this kind of foundational aspect of it.
Yeah, very much so.
But then, you know, obviously you've got Johnny, who also, you know, has an opinion and is very quick to say, oh, I'm not so sure. Maybe the first, I think, was where he's the first person. And then you've got Guy, who's like, if he doesn't like a song, don't ever even bring it up again.
Never.
I felt really bad for you because I'm like, you just got 3 of your best friends who importantly all play a version of the same role, and how that dynamic has kind of helped you over the course of your life as an unbridled creative and someone who has big ideas and probably wants to achieve things that most people seem unthinkable.
Yeah, that is so important for them, and then also the parts they bring to each song.
Of course.
We'll
get to that when we get to the album, but yeah.
But that balance of a band is so important. And you have to have a few people wanting to go 24/7, and then you have to have the ones who are like, okay, wait, have we got the right footwear?
Yeah.
It used to be annoying, but now I'm so grateful for it. Now I feel like, well, if it's been through that system of checks and balances,
yeah.
then once it's ready for the outside world, I have full confidence in it. And so whatever comes at it, I just have to say, okay, well, that's the best we can do, and it's been through all the checks and balances.
When you refer to 24/7, I know you're referring to yourself because Will used the same term yesterday. We were talking about how they sort of approach the friendship side of things and make sure that through all the touring and the recording and the work that goes into making your best work, best music, that there's ways that they can support you. And Will made that observation. He said it's 24/7 for you. Do you recognize that? That it's an obsession of some sorts, you know?
Oh, for sure. But I know that I'm not the only person, to paraphrase Sam Smith, I know I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
It's normal for me. And I would be so sad if it wasn't 24/7.
Is that to some degree why there's always a sense of mortality with every project? There's an idea that the plan will end at some point.
Yeah.
It allows you a chance to actually acknowledge that this is the best I could have done in the moment. And if I pluck up the energy to go again, I will. But right now, this is enough.
Yes, but we're only going to do 12 proper albums, and that's real.
That's real?
Yeah, promise.
I don't want you to promise that. I want 50
no, but it's
albums.
good. No, you don't. You don't, because less is more. And for some of our critics, even less would be even more.
You still read those guys?
No,
You
I don't
still
read it. I'm joking, but
yeah.
we don't. That's just. And I'll tell you why it's really important that we have that limit. First of all, there's only 12. Well, there's only 8 Harry Potters or 7 Harry Potters. There's only 12 and a half Beatles albums. There's only enough, about the same Bob Marley. So all of our heroes, and also having that limit means that the quality control is so high right now.
Mm-hmm.
And for a song to make it, it's almost impossible, which is great. And so where we could be kind of coasting, we're trying to improve.
The only part of it that I have to get my head around as a fan of music is that there's something about the creation which is personally fulfilling that ultimately leads to a place of legacy. And it feels to me like you recognize the importance of the legacy of quality, but it might deny you the joy of making something on a personal fulfillment level. Am I making sense?
Yeah. Well, the joy of making something, that's funny. I was thinking about that this morning. That will always continue in some way. But there's something about the Coldplay thing. That's just what, I don't know where the songs come from. I don't know where the ideas come from, but that's just been coming to me for about 4 or 5 years now. Like, you have to finish like this. And I trust that, just like I trust the song. So if we do something together after that creatively beyond touring, then it will be something different, or it'll be a side thing, or it'll be a compilation of things we hadn't finished. Or...
They're still creative. It just doesn't have
so
to
much,
be in there. Yeah.
And also to make an album great as a band, it's such a lot of wrangling of people, and I want to give the others some of their life for themselves. Otherwise, I don't want to be, when we're 60, like, Will,
come on, guys, let's keep going. Let's keep
better
on
than
going.
that.
They seem happy right now. I mean, after 2.5 years of touring, I don't think in my lifetime I've ever seen a band skip on stage and still have the joy.
Oh, I think we've got more than ever. Because of all the reasons, because of getting older, because of COVID, because of everything going on in the world, because of how lucky we know we are, because of the places we get to go, because of the optimism that it gives us to see all different kinds of people gathering together, because of songs that arrive from nowhere, because we go at a slower pace. All these things mean that we love it.
I think about everyday life. It's an interesting listen that for me now, because it's grown on me so much. I liked it the first time I heard it, but you didn't tour it as much, and it just felt like one of those records that was going to serve its purpose, and that purpose would reveal itself to me. And so how it's revealed itself to me is that it kind of grounded you in the reality of what life actually is.
Right.
It's a pretty direct record.
Yeah,
There's
very,
songs on there, I mean, that are as political as you've ever gotten. And,
very.
You know, very, very connecting with faith in a very direct way. No more mystery and magic wrapped up in the sentiment. It's like, this is exactly how I feel. And I love it, but it felt to me like it opened up the door for you to actually go into the spheres, and it kind of opened up the magic a little bit.
You're very good, Jay. I've got to tell you, not to sound like a rom-com, but sometimes you know me better.
Would you say that to all the interviewers?
Better than I know myself. Look at us on this rock in the ocean. It's like Love Actually.
It's very sweet.
That's really true. Yes, so everyday life was sort of an acknowledgement of, like, we see what's happening everywhere. It's a struggle. Life is a struggle for most people, all people at some time. So it was important to acknowledge that before going into and our response to that is, well, we have to try and turn to love as
What's
much as possible.
Yeah.
Because aggression doesn't seem to work, separation doesn't seem to work, vilification doesn't seem to work, meanness doesn't seem to work. This is for me anyway.
Yeah.
So every day is a challenge to try and find a loving path through not necessarily very loving situations, which is really difficult. So I think everyday life was us saying we're not completely head in the clouds. You know, we're aware of when we go into this hippiness, it's referring to something that we're aware of. It's not just pie in the sky.
It's on the record. We understand the struggle. We know what's going on out here.
I mean, I'm not pretending that I understand everyone's struggle, but I understand that people struggle.
I see it, yeah.
And we all do in our own way.
Yeah.
But for me now, as a nearly 70-year-old, it seems to me like the people who are happiest are the people who acknowledge everything that's going on and then try and find some way to look at it with love, basically. Because finger pointing doesn't seem to have worked. Shouting at people doesn't seem to have worked. Throwing bricks at people doesn't seem to change their minds.
Yeah.
So, but that's just for us.
I feel like everyday life has a companion piece in ghost stories, because I feel like ghost stories was as transformative in a different way. If everyday life got you to see the world differently, ghost stories got you to see your life differently.
Definitely, yeah. What's nice about life, if you keep an open set of ears and eyes, which Brian Eno taught us to do, is that the right teachers show up, and the right authors, and the right music, and the right friends, and if you're inquisitive, you can change your life in amazing ways, and you find people who are thinking in a way that you realize you were feeling that all along, but you didn't know how to articulate it.
Yeah, you didn't have the tools.
For me, that was Rumi, or Viktor Frankl, or Paulo Neruda, or Leonard Cohen, or those, I see, okay, now I feel less alone, and I feel like someone's articulated this pull I've been feeling. And then you travel as much as we do, which is such a privilege. And in traveling, you get to understand more the similarities between all people than the differences. And that you understand that the concept of nations and flags and all that is sort of made up to give people a sense of safety, but really we're all here together. That's the actual truth. And there's a book by Ryszard Krasinski called The Other, about how we're often manipulated through fear of the other. And once you realize there is no other, it's an amazingly liberating place. Yeah, because then you're like, I don't have to be scared of immigrants, whatever people try and make you scared of. And we've seen some of that on this tour, actually.
Yeah.
You don't have to be scared of anybody, because they're pretty similar to you. And they're probably going through something that if they're being aggressive towards you, it's probably to do with what they're going through.
Yeah, it's fear-based reaction.
And that's an amazingly liberating feeling.
When I was walking here to see you again, there was written on the side of the trash can, you can live a life others don't understand.
Yeah, I took a photo of that the other day.
Yeah.
It's okay to live a life other people don't understand. Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
That's so weird, because I walked here the other day with Phil twice, and I saw that, and I was like, I love that so much.
I love that too, yeah.
And I feel that's sort of how we're trying to be as a band these days, of like, it's okay that some people really don't like this, or it's not for them right now, but this is really where we're at. And this is really what we feel, and this is really how we're the same age now as prime ministers and presidents, and this is what we think, and we're happy to say it. There's no other thing to do than just follow your heart, make sure you're 100% behind what you're doing, and then beyond that, it's a beautiful thing that people are able to say they like it or don't like it, or ignore it.
Yeah.
That's what art is for. And I know that lots of people will hate anything we do, but I'm totally okay with it, because I love it and I'm fully into it. And I've worked so many hours and days and weeks to make sure that I'm 100% behind it. So if it's not for you, then God bless you. That's okay.
Yeah.
What's funny about our quote unquote hits is most of them weren't hits at the moment they came out. So we don't really have hits in the way that everyone else has hits.
I'm trying to call foul, and I can't. I think you're actually right. I think there are songs that come out that they're sticky and they just hang around. And I mean, like even a song like My Universe, which obviously on paper with BTS is going to be a massive hit, right? But I think watching it last night in that environment, in that stadium, it was like one of the biggest songs you've ever done.
Right, but it was a hit for a minute because of Army.
Yeah.
Respect.
Respect.
They made it a hit in the first week. Then it disappeared again.
Yeah.
And then all the people that were like, I hate Coldplay, they always check, they change too much, whatever. But I was just like, well, I know that song fell through in such a natural way on top of a beat that Bill Rocco, one of our producers, made. I know that it came through really purely, so I just got to trust the song. And so for the first few shows in certain countries, that song wasn't really, but now it's, now it's accepted by our audience, and not by all of them.
Yeah.
But again, you can't. Or a song called A Sky Full of Stars.
Wow, last
was
night,
sort of a joke when we released it to some people, and now it's become.
I think that's one that, to me, that was a moment in the show last night, and has been a moment in your collection of songs that is very powerful for lots of reasons. But yeah, I was thinking about Sky Full of Stars last night, and I whenever I hear that song, especially when you perform it live, I think about Tim, I think about Avicii, and I think about how amazing he was as an artist, and just how gifted he was.
And delicate. He was very delicate.
Well, I want to talk about the vulnerability of being an artist a little bit, and I know you can't speak for every artist, but you are one, and I think we have to handle with care the arts and the artists, and sometimes we miss that point.
Well, I think we have to handle everyone with care, first and foremost.
Yeah.
Secondly, artists, particularly when they're on their own, it's a delicate thing, especially now with social media, and it's relentless, and it's extremely stressful for a young artist. So for someone like Tim, who was at the beginning of the real social media craziness, and he was doing 4 gigs a day, it was just, there was nobody to say, there was no will. He didn't have a will to say, hey, awesome, let's rest for a minute. Or let's not do 7 singles this week, let's do 1.
Yeah.
You need that, or you two have Larry who's like that, who's just, they're like, okay, cool, they're the person holding the kite.
Yeah.
What makes me so happy about Billie Eilish, for example, is that Billie Eilish is really a band, isn't it? The two of them, and then the further band of their family.
Family, yeah.
So you feel with her that she's protected and she's so brilliant. But her and Phineas are such a band that I feel like, well, she'll be okay. The music industry is always in a state of flux.
Yeah.
And there's a certain thought that really, because of AI and because of viral hits, that's the only way it will end up, with just that.
Yeah.
But conversely, this year you have Chappell Roan, Charlie XCX and Billie Eilish, all of whom are on their sort of 4th or 5th project.
Working hard.
Who have been allowed to develop, and so perhaps it's going to be viral hits and AI, but also there's a place for long-term people that are looked after.
Yeah.
Because, especially as a fan, then it gives you something to believe in, or Fontaine's DC, or 1975. I still am a fan of bands that I've liked for a while, or artists that I've liked for a few years. Where are they going to go?
Yeah.
As well as being a fan of, this remix from Transylvania has just blown up. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So there's room for all of it, and but the thing you learn from Avicii was we have to protect all people.
We have to protect all people.
We have to protect all people.
This album is such a beautiful Coldplay record. It starts with a title track that is so bittersweet.
Right.
And I know it's tough to go into nuances of lyrics, but I really want to stay in that song for a second, because it asks so many questions of yourself and leaves us in a place where you're asking for help. It's so beautiful.
Well, that's how I begin every day, basically.
Right.
It's every day. It's like the suit of armor of confidence has evaporated overnight, and I have a certain set of tools and teachers and guides who help me have the right things to pick myself up every day and carry on. So I was, with Moon Music, I felt like, well, what if I just really told how I feel every day? Before I've remembered this phrase or that teaching or done this set of prayers or whatever. It's like, well, most of us every day are like, oh, am I just a terrible loser? Right?
Well, even the bit where you acknowledged I just sit around, watch TV and blame everybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, look, as a piece of music goes, I think it's a very honest reflection of how we all feel at times, which is, we're just trying to be better, you know?
And trying to ask for some help.
And we need help.
Yeah.
We need help at the end of the day, and it's delicate and bittersweet. And you talked about We Pray coming to you in the night. You've talked to me many times about how songs, you're a vessel for the music, and you don't really know where it comes from.
No.
Do you dream them? Do they come up in dreams sometimes too?
Yes, I do sometimes dream them. Often songs that come in dreams aren't as good as you think they are in the dream.
Have any ever come out at all?
We Pray, Viva la Vida.
Yeah.
And then loads that you'll never hear.
Yeah.
Why not? Because I want to save you the trouble of having to... This album is really, really good. It's sort of our manifesto, or it's my way of looking at things right now in terms of how to continue, how to not give up, how to accept reality, not run away from it, not hate anybody, even in the midst of always being filled with so many difficult emotions. So, and it's with Max Martin, so he made sure that it's really good.
It sounds like, I mean, this is a compliment, it sounds like hard work. That's hard work.
It's so fun though, and because we have Max now, for this period, this last 4 Coldplay albums, he's just the best brother. It just gives you so much confidence. And I know that if a song has passed him and Will and Johnny and Guy and Phil, not to mention other people around me, then I'm like, and if I really still love it, then I feel like, okay, well, this can come out. And as long as the story of the album is cohesive from start to finish, so there's nothing competing with anything else and everything is part of the journey, then, so this is a good one.
Oh, yeah.
But we've had a few good ones.
So what does moon music mean, though? As a title, as a concept?
I don't really know where that came from.
Yeah.
Maybe it's to do with accepting all the different phases. Maybe it's to do with shining your light without any need for anything in return. That more applies to the sun. There's a Hafez poem that says, even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, you owe me. Look what happens with a love like that. It lights up the whole sky.
Yeah.
And sometimes if I'm super depressed, I think about, well, the sun is always shining. So you just can't see it right now. And sometimes if I'm struggling to find a positive perspective, I think, well, the sun
is there.
Always shines no matter what stupid stuff we're doing. So
yeah.
And the sun shines on whatever's happening equally. This is getting a bit silly, but this is my point about interviews, is that all the things that I really feel, I've tried to put them in the songs, because when I say them out loud, I sound like a knob.
I don't think so.
But it's how I actually feel, that's the problem.
I don't think there's a difference between the two, and I would hate to hear the music and feel some kind of very genuine connection to what it is you're saying, and then talk to you and you're a bit dismissive about what I'm hearing in the records as well, you know, because
it'd be more fun to interview if I just slagged other artists off and
we tried that
talked about money
about 15 years ago, and for a brief period of time, I think.
I was once mean in an interview in the year 2000. I said something a little bit mean about Bobby Gillespie from Primal Scream, and I still feel
pick your fights, don't you, man? I mean, this guy's a pirate.
But it was because
at
that time, a guy called Alan McGee had been a bit mean about Coldplay, and they're really good friends.
Yeah.
Anyway, I regret that so much. I'm so sorry, Bobby. I love Primal Scream.
Yeah.
In the interim, I met Alan McGee actually in a park, and we went on this lovely walk, and it was so fun. And you realise at a time that even your critics are doing you a favour.
Yeah.
But anyway, my point is I don't like to say anything mean about anybody, really, particularly not other artists.
I mean, there was one particular relationship which got really testy for a while there, but they had it out for everybody. But
which one?
Oasis, but they had it out for everybody.
Oh, you can't take that personally.
No, you can't. And now, I mean, there's these shows. I mean, it's going to be...
But we never, ever responded. You've got to let people be themselves.
Yeah.
And if we're in someone's joke, that's fine. I'm really happy for them. Really happy for the two of them.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that, this is going to sound a bit silly, but the two of them reuniting gives you more hope about the Holy Land and about all of the conflicts in the world. Because it's a biblical
Dude, the reaction
thing, isn't it?
The reaction has been so overwhelming. I think you know, it is deep for people.
What would be amazing is if they let Tony McCarroll play drums, but that's asking for too much.
We don't know yet. We don't know who's showing up on the day.
Because I'd like to go on record and say, his drumming is amazing. And a bit like Ringo had for a while, oh, he's not very good at drums. Well, he's the drummer on Definitely Maybe, so he's doing something right.
Yeah, right.
And he brings this bagginess.
Yeah, there's a feel.
And there's a swing in there that's just amazing.
Yeah.
Like someone said last night, Tony McCarroll had the roll as well as the rock, which is what Keith Richards said about Charlie Watts. Because Charlie Watts had a swing.
Yeah. In the middle of Moon Music, there's a really wonderful, wonderful composition, which I'm just going to call Rainbows.
Oh yeah, it was called Alien Hits, Alien Radio, but it's just
it's a rainbow.
A rainbow emoji. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's so. I just would love to know the relationship that song has with the record, and and you know where it sort of came from, because it really is a 3-part piece of music.
That is a sort of foreshadowing of the next thing, and it's supposed to be songs by other artists from other galaxies that are sort of answering the question in the song Moon Music. So in a way, it's supposed to be angels and otherworldly beings saying, why don't you try this approach, which is acknowledge how you feel, express it in a safe place that's not going to hurt anybody, and then try and be loving. That's what that song is. It's sort of, and then it finishes with Dr. Maya Angelou singing about when it looked like the sun wasn't going to shine anymore, God put a rainbow in the clouds. So to me, it means you have to accept all your colors and all the colors of other people. This is literally and metaphorically. And once you accept all those colors, then you can be yourself, and then you can let everyone else be themselves. That's what.
There's a huge amount of acceptance on this record. You know, I mean, Jupiter is a classic example of that, and such a beautiful story, and you know, a continuation of what you've been saying for a while in your music, which is like, you know, love who you love, and I love that song as well. I think, and it sounds like it was a very easy performance for you.
Yeah, but it's not love who you love. It's I love who I love.
Right.
The first love is like shouted. I love who I love. Not just I love who I love, leave me alone. It's like, no, I'm really proud of who I love. That's what it means to me. It's funny because like I keep saying, we travel so much. We're so privileged to see all kinds of people and all kinds of love. And now we have this thing in the show where we have people on screen and we try and sing about them with varying degrees of success. But it's just so cool, all the types of people that come up, and gay couples and trans people and this nationality and that nationality. And the more you're exposed to things that you might have been taught to be a bit afraid of, the more you realize, oh, it's all love, and it's all, why would you ever want to stop someone being themselves as long as they're not hurting anyone else?
Well, my love, I mean, it was really lovely hearing you end the show with that last night, and hearing everybody sing that song.
Well, I did ask him to sing it.
Nah, it's different though. It's different. You can prep people, but it's not the same.
I liked that bit. That was new yesterday.
It's not often I feel like you allow yourself to just bang out the anthem like that. You know, you on the piano and just like, I mean, that is a fucking...
I'm doing that before you started Gonzo, my friend.
It's true, it's true.
Yes, sometimes it's nice to bang out the songs like that.
A big one. I mean, it's a big one. I mean, when you do the McCartney chord, you know the one I talk about?
What's the McCartney chord?
You know, the turnaround chord in there where it's like...
Oh, like a seventh,
yeah. And it's very classic, sort of beautiful, anthemic kind of turnaround chord.
But not to sound too much like a nerd, but I'm going to. There's a nice bit, which all of these things come out by accident. There's a bit where the left hand goes to the seventh and the right hand goes to the second. Just before the last phrase, just what you got, all my love.
Yeah, that one.
Which is a bit like Live and Let Die, yeah. And that chord, I love it. Jacob Collier will be able to tell you what it is.
God, he's so good, isn't he?
Yeah, he's amazing. Well, he's one of our teachers now.
Is he?
100%. We have the four of us. We have the incredible producers around, Max, Ilya, Bill, Brian, Eno still sometimes, you know, Stargate, all of those brilliant people. And then for 16 years now, we've been so lucky to have John Hopkins around on every album. Davide Rossi, who plays a lot of strings. John Metcalf, who plays a lot of strings. And then since Everyday Life, Jacob Collier, who comes in like a professor. He's a mix between like Gandalf and Nigel Kennedy. Do you remember Nigel Kennedy?
Yeah, of course.
Who was a violinist in the 80s.
The rock and roll violinist.
Yeah, but he was the first person to sort of mix it up with classical. So Jacob's like that, and he's so brilliant that you just have to pay respect. But it's funny because he's so technically on a different level.
Yeah.
And Brian Eno has no idea what that note even is. But they both have had this seismic impact on us mainly because of the joy and the passion and the different ways it's expressed. But the through line is that they love it, they live for it. And we're so lucky we get to work with these people.
Yeah, that's a dream team. I mean, you start talking about those individuals, you start adding John Hopkins into the mix and all these amazing people who you can just turn to when you think you've got something, right?
Yeah, and then there's a group of singers led by a lady called Denise Carité that we met doing a cover for Radio 1 of Graceland because the rest of the band weren't available, so I did it. And I said, I need to find some singers. And we met this group of singers and I called them very early on now to say, hey, please can you come and try this song and let it expand into registers I can't get to. So it's more than ever, it's always been a collective, our band, but it's more than ever that now.
Well, the community is bigger than that even. I mean, for the longest time now, you've had this extended, chorus with the family, and bringing people in to sing on songs.
With people who...
Yeah, well, like with Moses and Apple,
Yeah.
with your kids, they sing on this album as well?
Yeah.
They are?
Yeah, and they have a co-write on something or other. Because Moses will say, that bit should go like this.
That's cool. Isn't that great when you meet at that point where, if you're lucky, the people who you love you share some passion for something and you get to find a mutual meeting place?
Yeah, it's amazing. And then Apple sings on a few. I mean, it's so lovely to... But to be fair, they've been on every album since Ghost Stories.
Yeah.
I think that was the first one.
A lot of artists, when they become successful, they protect the family unit away from the job and away from what they're doing. There's like family and then there's the work. We don't do this. And yet you were very inclusive and brought the family into the creative process and wanted to be a part of it.
It's all the same thing, How do I say this without sounding too pretentious? Coldplay is my life 24/7. Like everything I'm looking at has the lens of my children and the band. At all times. Is this good for those two groups of people? And some other people too, but those two things are always there. And so often those two things meet. And also, will my kids like this? Or Moses and me were so into Fontaine's DC, like to a deep level, and it's such a connector for us. And of course, they're influencing what we're doing and what my son is doing, So for me, family and first of all, I feel like everyone is in your family. So, but you mean people who actually came?
Yeah,
right.
That part.
Right. So it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
And they come and meet you at the studio, and you say, well, what do you think of this? And
Don't you feel now, after playing in front of 82,000 people and change, night after night, huge amounts of people coming in and really, don't you feel, for lack of a better term, protected? I feel you give too much to people for there to be any desire to catch you out anymore. There's no gotcha anymore. I just don't.
Do you think so?
I think there's.
So. No, I think it's always positivity and negativity. By the laws of nature, are always balanced. So I just assume if everything's going really well for us, it's also going really badly. If everyone's saying nice things, the whole exact amount of people are saying.
How does that serve you?
It serves me by just trying to keep me completely neutral. And not go too much either way. I don't really read things or go on social media because it's not healthy. But things get to me, or I hear about things, or people say this, or people don't like that, or people are accusing you of changing into this kind of band, or people say you've broken up, or you've had this, or whatever. And it's just like, it's all good. If for some people we're a character in a soap opera, that's great. Whatever helps people, gossip helps people. It's a sort of therapy in a way. So if you're a character in those modern soap operas, which is, celebrity culture, you just have to be like, okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. But in terms of being protected, I don't think of it like that. I feel like, in fact, I feel always super exposed. But I just try and have faith that, well, we're doing our best. I'm doing my best. I make mistakes. I accidentally upset people, or I say a mean thing where I didn't want to, or I get angry when I shouldn't have got angry, or I mess up the set list that day. Every day there's a myriad of negative things that I've accidentally done. we're doing our best. And you have to just accept there'll be positive and there'll be negative in equal amounts. So don't get carried away with everything's amazing or everything's terrible, because it's both.
Yeah. Yeah, that's called living in the moment, my friend. Oh, it's getting cold now.
You have to grow up in Devon to be used to this. This is all I used to do with my cousins. Well done. It was worth it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
What is on top of that? There's a seal. Hey, guys, look.
Yeah, look.
See, there's a seal on the top of the rock. Beautiful. Have you ever interviewed seal?
No.
Where I live, it's funny because you see seals and sometimes you see seal.
At the same time?
I'm one of the only people who can say that, yeah.
Did you feel it, though, when you wrote All My Love? Did you, like, just kind of get through the initial arrangement of it and just be like...
Would you like me to tell you the truth?
Yeah.
Some songs arrive fully formed and you're just like, where did that come from? Thank you so much. And that's only happened about 6 times. Viva La Vida happened like that. Yellow happened like that. Paradise happened like that. A Sky for the Stars happened like that. All My Love happened like that.
I'm not surprised.
And yeah, so I don't know. It just came through on a really cheap keyboard that I took to Jamaica. Yeah, I was like, wow. Okay, thank you.
Is it the first time you ended the show with it?
Yes.
How did it feel last night here?
It felt really nice, but I told him to sing it back.
No, but
it
it's
doesn't
not the
count.
same.
It's a fake sing-along doesn't count.
But but you have to listen back to the clip. People really connected with it immediately.
Okay, well, let me tell you what happened. Because I felt like, oh, that went really well. That's brilliant. So when I went back to my room, I thought, you have to humble yourself, my friend.
Right.
So I Googled Cigarettes and Alcohol Live by Oasis. And I was like, well, that is a
compare
sing-along.
and contrast therapy.
Yeah, I was like, don't get ahead of yourself,
right,
sweet cheeks, because you've got to be put in your place sometimes.
It was a special one. You know, I got to the venue yesterday and I said to Will, you know, you're nearly there, you nearly did it. And he was like, did what? And I said, well, you know, he's like, well, we're not done. I said, yeah, but Australia and New Zealand, it's like, it'd be fun. It's like a nice way to end it. And he's like,
we're not ending, what are you talking about? It's just what we do.
That's what he said.
I don't really want to do anything else.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
You're kidding? It restores my faith in humanity. Every day I get to see people singing together. And it's just so fun.
Yeah, it's fun for us too, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna get in the water.
Yeah. Did you ask for permission to park your boat there? People think Zayn hasn't let money get to his head, but look at his boat.
For most people, the idea of performing in front of 80,000 people every night seems strange and untouchable. How do you turn it on every night? And also, how do you turn it off at the end of the night? For Chris, it's as simple as being barefoot, literally grounded, and surrounding yourself with something familiar, or in the case of the ocean, something much, much bigger than you.
You're the lifeguard?
Right.
All of us.
You're all the lifeguards?
Yeah, sorry, end of the airplane. There's about 15 lifeguards.
Chris, what's your name? Matthew?
Hi, Ellie.
Ellie, how you doing?
Good.
All right, look, we're going to go swimming.
Yeah.
We've got 7 lifeguards. That's
There's no easy way to do this,
Watch
right?
out for the jellyfish.
'Cause you've got all my love. Whether it rains or pours, I'm all yours. And you've got all my love. Whether it rains, it remains. You've got all my love. With all my heart, I thank you so much. Goodbye.